That's right. Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? Hey, it's me, Ann Eller, and I have very special guests with us here today, all the way from the Uptown Museum right there in Greenwood, South Carolina, the museum. Yes, they came all the way over here to the studios. It was an awesome trip. They made it through the rain, the showers, the flooding, and they are here this afternoon. How is Karen Jennings, the executive director, and how is Nikki Murphy, the program director over there at the museum? How are you doing today?
We're doing great. We got tons of stuff going on.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Absolutely. Well, tune us in. We're live on Facebook if you want to see some of the items that we're talking about right there on WCRS 98.5 FM /1450 AM. We are live. They have some items that they've brought with them today. We're going to be talking about some of the things that are happening. Karen, you wanted to talk about what? The Princess Party? What do we want to talk about?
Well, first of all, I would like to acknowledge how generous the Greenwood, and Greenwood County have been to us. With all these things we're going to talk about today are possible really because they've been supporting the museum and the Railroad Historical Center for all these years, and we are very grateful.
Absolutely.
So we one of the things that we're talking about today is the Princess Party. This is one of the most popular and look forward to events that the museum puts on. And we brought in our little tiaras. Would you like a tiara, Ann?
No, I think I'll pass because I do have these big headsets, but I know that you have tiaras there to wear. And you're also giving away a tiara or something.
Oh, yes. There's a raffle, a Princess Tiara raffle for a beautiful, really nice, high-quality tiara.
For a $5 ticket, you can buy as many tickets as you want. You have a chance to win a tiara, and then others who don't win the tiara will receive door prizes.
If you buy a raffle ticket, everybody's going to get something.
Wow. Now, when is this?
It is Saturday, August the 16th, so
that's
a week from Saturday.
And we've sold out of the 11 o'clock session, and the 2 o'clock session is going fast. If you've got a little princess that you'd like to have attend to our princess party, you need to go ahead and buy your tickets because
they're online. You can get them online at greenwoodmuseum.org.
Now, how much are the tickets?
For the princesses, they're $30, and for the princess adult, and I say adult because we've had princess moms, we've had princess dads, grandmoms and granddads who've come. So the princess adult is $15. And for that, they come in, they will be greeted by some Disney princesses, compliments of Greenwood High School Theater.
Wow.
And we will go through 3 stations on the main level at each seating. One is trying on the glass slipper and getting their picture made in a real Cinderella carriage. We have the Cinderella carriage.
You do?
We do. It was built in 1953 for an American Federation of Flower shows.
Ms. Abney's.
Josephine Abney.
The crew
and
built
the theme of that show was the Cinderella story, Tell It with Flowers.
Wow.
So we will be bringing the carriage up to the main level on Monday in preparation for the party on Saturday.
Wow.
And then they go into the cinema, hear the Cinderella story in our cinema, and then they will visit the Tidwell's Princess Jewelry Shop.
Okay.
And this year the girls are being fitted for mood rings.
Mood rings?
Mood rings.
Isn't that 1960s or something?
They love to get fitted, and we have so many wonderful volunteers.
I actually put the princess carriage picture that you brought up
you
there
did?
on the stage.
Oh,
okay.
wonderful.
So it is showing right now.
Yeah. The fabric is so old, and we can't have everybody get in the carriage. That's why we don't keep it on display. But for the princesses, they actually get inside the carriage and have their picture made.
Well, it is a beautiful picture of this little girl. And what did she have? Lights under her dress or something?
Some of them do.
Something
Yeah,
smart, maybe sequins.
It looks like there were lights under it, but anyways, it's really, really, really cute, and she's getting out of the carriage. So if you're watching, you can see that. I wanted to share that because I thought that was so neat. So
It is really a preciousness overload almost. I mean, they are so cute.
Well,
so
I didn't
cute.
know. I didn't know that was actually from Miss Abney. I wondered where you got that from.
Yeah, Ms.
So tell
Abney.
us. So tell us again where that came from.
Well, she had the crew from Abney Mills create this carriage.
My goodness.
For them for this. It was the Garden Club flower show.
I think
it was a ball they had,
Oh, wow.
and this was part of the decorations.
So cool.
Yeah, it is. Purple and lavender with gold trim, and
it's big.
Oh
It
yeah,
is
it's
big.
regular
It's
size.
big, yeah.
It's
It is
an
a
ordeal
full-size
to
carriage.
actually. It has to come out of the storage building, through the parking lot, down Oregon Street, down the main street, and then inside the
door.
museum doors, one wheel at a time.
Wow.
It's a little wider than our doors.
Wow. Well,
But-
that's cool. That is cool. You ought to have the procession of the princess. You know, like they do the procession of things. You should have the procession of the princess. You should video it and
Well,
put
I
it
think
on.
we'll need
Oh
to video.
yeah,
I
oh
think-
yeah.
Yeah, and put
And
that
put it on Facebook.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
put that on Facebook. That
I would
be
get
cool.
in it, but I think it would be a bumpy ride.
Well, anyways, that is coming up on the 16th. So that is a week from Saturday. You can get your tickets at the museum or do them
Online. You can buy them online.
GreenwoodMuseum.org. And a big thank you to Tidwell's Jewelers of
Yay, Tidwell's.
Greenwood for sponsoring this.
Now, tell us what happens in the store. So they're going to actually set up a little store for
Oh
Tidwells?
yes, and they get their ring fitted. They have the little and they get to pick which one. And
Now, did you bring the gems or something? Have you showed us those?
yes.
Hold
Karen,
that up.
Karen.
This is part of the display in the
Yep, that's
Tidwell
perfect.
jewelry
Yeah.
store, Princess Jewelry Store.
Now, we
Can't
do
see
set.
Nikki now, but you can see the gems.
We do,
Vanna's here.
we do set the stage. Karen and I have brought our costume jewelry from the 1980s.
Mama's costume.
And Mama's
jewelry.
costume jewelry and all of our rhinestones and everything. And we actually set up a display case of all the different princess sparkles.
I bet they love it. Now, what age group is this for particularly?
The suggested age range is about 4 to 10, although if the girls could come, if they're younger and they've got a longer attention span, that's okay too. Each station.
You are listening. I made a mistake here. I got everything going except I didn't turn on the radio. So you haven't been on the radio, but let's go ahead and just finish. We've been talking. I've been watching the Facebook Live, and it occurred to me. Somebody said, "Ann, we can't hear you."
Oh.
So here we are. Let me go back and just say we've got Karen Jennings here, who is the executive director of the museum, along with Nikki Murphy, the program director. If you were listening in the beginning, you heard I said they came all the way from uptown Greenwood over here to the studio. They didn't need a boat, but almost.
Almost.
And we've been talking about the princess party that is Princess Tea Party that comes up on the 16th. But I know when we started, we were talking about the city and the county. Would you like
I wanted
go
to
ahead?
acknowledge the help that the city and the county both have given to all the nonprofits, but I would like to specifically thank them for what they have given to the museum and to the Railroad Historical Center. Without their support from their generous sharing of the hospitality and the accommodation tax monies, we wouldn't be able to do half the stuff that we do. We'd still be kind of a little dusty attic museum. They've been a huge help, and we are very grateful.
And of course, you've got a big project coming up with what you're going to be doing with the Railroad
Oh,
Museum.
yep.
So that is going to be a big lift to get that finished.
Oh, yeah. Major. You want to talk about that now?
Well, would you like to? Sure.
Well, it doesn't matter. So what we have going down on the Railroad Historical Center is a project to build a new depot, a replica depot from the Southern Railway. And we have. Do you have a picture of that, Ann?
I do.
Oh, we've got
coming up here in a minute. Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
we've been working with the architects, and it's going to be gorgeous. It's with the bona fide, genuine official colors from the Southern Railway stations, green and yellow with white trim and a red roof. I think it's going to be absolutely gorgeous and will really be a nice enhancement for that part of Main Street in that area down there.
Sure.
It will also be a good draw to bring people into town. We already have a lot of people that come from out of town to see the railroad museum. But
And
this
for those
is
who don't
really
know,
good.
we have 7 historical train cars. They've all been restored, and most of the funding for the depot will come from the Greenwood County Capital Sales Tax Project Fund from 2016.
2016.
Yeah.
Our number finally came up.
At
least we had a number.
At least you had a number. That's right. That's right.
We were towards the bottom of that list.
But the costs have gone up since then, and so we are still fundraising for that project to finish it off.
Well,
right.
it's an excellent project to bring people in from out of town, because when you look at our state and for old railroad memorabilia, there are not a lot across the state.
No, there's
They're
four.
not.
There aren't, and
They're
our
falling
train.
down, yeah.
Our train is the best restored. It's pretty much the only fully restored train. It does not run. A couple of the other places, Winsboro and down in Savannah, do run, but their train is not restored like ours is. And we have a fabulous group of volunteers who give tours, tell about the train's significance and stories about when people rode on the train. It was a daily part of life. It's a fabulous museum and a real draw for Greenwood.
It's a gem. And right now, train tours are available on Saturdays from 10 to 4. All you have to do is show up. They're $10 for adults, $5 for children 4 to 12, and free for children 3 and under. And if you can't come on a Saturday, call us, because our tour guides are always willing to do private tours.
Absolutely.
Oh, we're sitting here with these crowns and stuff still on our heads.
Well, that's
all
okay,
right.
because you're princesses.
We are princesses.
And I just wanted to go back and cover,
Yes.
the very beginning,
Yeah,
because we did.
We
miss
didn't need
that
to say that stuff.
because we wanted to make sure that you knew about the railroad depot and what's happening there, and
It's exciting.
It
That's
is exciting.
And construction should start pretty soon after the first of the year.
Wow.
So it will be being built in 2026, and then we hope to have it ready to go in 2027.
2027. So
So
that
a little
area,
over a year from now.
So that area will have to be totally closed for that year. Or
Oh
will
no,
you
we're
still have
we're gonna
tours?
keep it open. It will be closed off the part where they're building, but the train is really behind there. It's not. It can be separated fairly easily. We'll probably have a construction fence there.
One of the things I don't think a lot of people realize is that area is available to rent for an event or something. It really is a lovely area. The gardens there are lovely. You do so much down there,
Oh,
Karen.
thank you.
Yes.
And Karen does the gardens. She plans and
Well, that's what being a
designs
park
them.
does for you.
that is true. That is true. I'm glad they don't rely on me to do that.
but it is such a lovely place, and you have the ability to use it, and it's got the where is it? We almost have like a stage.
Oh, the
It's,
deck in the back,
back.
with a lift that'll take you up onto the level of
Sure.
the trains.
So that is just wonderful. So if you're looking for a lovely place, and particularly with fall coming up, it's a great place to use as a venue.
Yeah.
And when the depot is built, that will give
it's going to be wonderful.
That will really enhance the event space.
Well, you'll have a place that's roofed in and air conditioned and heated, but also an extension going out back that is got a roof, but is open on the sides, which will extend the area, particularly in decent weather, that you can stage your event in.
Sure. Now, also, people should be aware that you are always looking for docents to come and tell the story of the Railroad Museum, and maybe they want to work in the gardens or even help with the upkeep, because there's a lot of upkeep in an old train.
Oh yeah,
constant. It's like owning an old house,
Yes,
whether old or new. There's always something.
Old
that
metal
needs to be
bucket.
done.
Old metal bucket.
But we decorate the grounds for Christmas, and we our volunteers are invaluable in helping us decorate.
Oh yeah, we've got fabulous
all out.
volunteers down there, and they there's always something on the train that needs repairing or repainting or whatever, and they're very good about that. They'd love to have some help, some more people to help with it. It is a great bunch of people. They're a lot of fun.
So if
it's a good
somebody's
group to
interested,
join.
how do they apply? What do they have to do, Karen?
Well, they give us a call at the museum.
864-229-7093 is the number.
Yes. That's it.
229-7093, and we'll be delighted to have them. We do have a little form to fill out, and but we're delighted to be welcoming new people.
And I think one of the things a lot of people think, you'll work around their schedule. You'll work around their schedule. If it's a volunteer job, you'll work around the schedule. And if you are a docent that gives a tour, during the summer months, you just work like maybe one
weekend a month.
One Saturday.
One Saturday, yeah. Not the whole weekend, just a Saturday.
And then if we have a request for a private tour, we put it out there, see who's willing to pick it up and do that private tour.
During the week.
During the week.
So that if the Saturday doesn't suit, we can accommodate people.
And every volunteer doesn't do tours.
Right.
Some volunteers help with the maintenance. Some of them help with the decorating. We have one volunteer who loves to paint.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So those are the type of things that are available. But the Railroad Museum is an invaluable asset for Greenwood. And, I remember when the trains were falling down and everything back there in that area, and everybody looked at it and went, why?
Overtaking everything.
Why do we have this? But now when you look at all the years that it's been taken and what's happening now, this is really going to be a focal point in Uptown Greenwood.
Yeah, it's shaping up quite nicely.
Right, and the trains were so important to Greenwood's history. The tracks went down the middle of Main Street.
Made it the widest Main Street. Yeah.
Essentially two main streets, one on each side of the track.
Wasn't it until the 80s? when
They took up the last track in the 80s.
80s. Mm-hmm.
So that there is a huge amount of history, and I think it's great that Greenwood and that the county and the city appreciate the fact that they want to maintain that history for Greenwood.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's important to preserve our history, and it's like stepping back in time when you get on the train cars. People take tours and, wow, this is nice.
Yeah.
People got to travel this way.
Right. But you also, the thing that always gets me is how much smaller people had to be back then.
Yeah.
Because the seats are very
and the aisles are smaller. And
although in the passenger car, the seats are not that small.
Really?
In the modern one, yeah. Well, we have two passenger cars, one from 1914 and one from the 30s.
Okay.
And the 30s is a little plusher and a little bigger.
A little bigger. Well, that's cool. Well, anyway, so this is a big deal that is coming, and you said next year 26, so in 27, hopefully it will be ready to roll out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
With the depot and everything. So if you have an event coming up in 2027, maybe you want to check on that and be one of the first to have a big event. That would be
right.
cool.
That's right. There'll be a commercial kitchen. You can have your catering.
Wow.
It'll be nice.
It'll be nice.
It'll
That's
be
good.
nice.
Well, we'll have to have you back to talk about more about that
As it comes along.
as it
yeah.
comes along. But you have a couple of exhibits there at the museum, and the one that I've been promoting here during the summer months because it's so cool at the museum is the electricity one, right? That one has been
we
a
can take
huge.
off our tiaras for the moment.
Yes.
Start a pinch.
So what has been why did you do one on electricity?
Ooh. Well, we sat down and we brainstormed ideas what to do for the summer exhibit because we want something that can have interactive activities in the exhibit for the kids because they're out of school in the summer. It's a great place to come down. And this one percolated to the top of the list.
Right.
And the connection to Greenwood, Lake Greenwood was created. Yes. It's not a natural lake. It's a man-made lake, and it was created for hydroelectric.
Yeah, the buzzard roost down there and the dam and the is for generating hydroelectric power.
And that kind of was our little spark that we decided to focus on electricity. A lot of people just think all you have to do is plug something into the outlet and you have power.
Right.
And they have no clue as to how it is created, how you charge for electricity, for the kilowatt hour. What is a kilowatt hour? How do they measure that?
Right.
Most people don't know. They would have no reason to know. But it's an educational thing. It's not just there in the outlet. And a lot of planning, a lot of advanced planning on the part of the utility companies is required to make sure that we have enough electricity to supply our needs. And we're using more and more electricity all the time. And with AI coming in, the demand for electricity is going to go up faster probably than the supply.
Well, I think the other thing is when you think about what happened when we had Hurricane Helene here and how everybody was without power for days and weeks and some
you realize
for months,
how dependent you are on it.
Yeah,
that
this is excellent to be able to learn more about it. Tell us about some of the key aspects of the exhibit.
Well, one of the things, part of it is highlighting or spotlighting some of the early figures developing electricity, starting with Ben Franklin, and another. We have also, part of the exhibit is light bulbs. It's supposed to be pretty much every kind of light bulb that ever was. We even have a replica of the first one that was used or invented by Edison, and we have several interactive things where movement is used to generate electricity.
Right.
You can have a pedal race to generate 1/2 watt hour of electricity.
And most interesting is how long it actually takes to do that and how much energy you have to expend, right?
Yes, it does.
And yeah,
a little bit.
To charge your cell phone. You can charge your cell phone on one of these interactive things, but it takes a whole lot of turning the wheel and a whole lot of time to do any kind of charge and show it.
There's a hand crank station, and if you turn the crank, you can charge a cell phone a little bit, maybe 1 bar if you crank a lot. It's a marble tower that you crank it, and it raises the marbles up to the top, and then the marbles go down, and you keep cranking to bring them back up. And then there's a fan. You can fan yourself while you crank. And then the other is a little carousel that turns, that the cranking motion generates the power to turn the carousel.
I got the picture. I put the picture up with the pedaling.
Oh yeah!
Pedaling. So, I mean,
man, that's been very popular. You get 2 people going, and it's got a light station going up the column.
Oh right, I can see it, the different colors.
Who can pedal fast enough to make their lights to the top first, and they're the
competition.
Yeah.
We also have a Van de Graaff generator, which is that big metal ball that generates static electricity.
I didn't get a picture of that.
Right.
And once it gets going, you can lean your head close to it, and it will make your hair stand out.
Yeah, your hair.
That's
people
always
have
a lot
fun
of
with
fun.
that.
Yeah, that's always a lot of fun.
And some of the kids do like to shock themselves with it. We don't
We don't
tell
advocate
them
that,
we don't
but-
advocate it, but it's not enough static electricity to hurt them.
No. Well, but the bottom line is it's been a very good interactive exhibit. I mean, the kids have had fun. Adults have had fun with it. It's not a just for the kids. It's for everybody.
Right.
everybody.
Yeah, there's enough information for adults to feel like they're not being talked down to, but there's also a lot of things for the kids to do and experience kinetically or through their body some of the things that what it takes to generate power.
And one thing they get to do that's a lot of fun is a scavenger hunt.
Oh,
And we
yeah,
have
very
a sheet
popular.
of pictures of things that use electricity.
Right.
And those pictures are just scattered out throughout the exhibit. And they have to go on a scavenger hunt to find them.
Well,
and there
I've
are a
been
couple
there.
of them that are a little challenging, but we do give a clue.
Right.
And then if they will see us before they leave, we have a little ink stamp that it's a thundercloud with lightning bolts coming out of it to remind them of electricity.
The original source of electricity.
Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah. Now, how long is that exhibit going to be here?
It'll be up through the end of the year,
Through the end of the
At
year.
least. We created this exhibit, so
so we don't have to send it back.
that's right. That's right. We're not renting.
That's another thing. I think a lot of people don't realize how much work it was to create an exhibit. You had a lot of help from people that were involved in the project. You want to mention some of them?
And we'd use Jim Booth, who
Big shout out to Jim Booth.
yes, he's a retired electrical engineer, and he designed and created some of these interactive things we have, which is amazing.
And we've also borrowed two things from CPW. One is a large tabletop exhibit showing the water coming through the dam and the transmission lines from the source to the substation. And at the substation, those transformers convert high voltage electricity to low voltage electricity that won't blow up your house. And then you have the distribution lines that take it actually to your house with lights that light up.
Yeah, so
we
some
go through AA
miniature
batteries every other
diorama.
day. A lot of AA batteries. And then we
Yeah.
also borrowed 3 different meters from CPW to show how electricity is measured, the usage. They measure what you
Absolutely.
use in your home.
Yeah, but I really think, and I think it's been interesting from what I've seen for kids really of all ages.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Everybody can learn something.
Yeah. So, and what does Ben Franklin have to do with all this? Because I know you've got Ben Franklin standing up there in the exhibit.
He flew a kite one night in a lightning storm, and at the end of the kite string, he had a metal key, and lightning struck the key.
Okay.
Or the kite and brought it
The
down
kite,
to the key.
it conducted the electricity down to the key. So Ben Franklin gets credited with discovering electricity. Maybe the original electrician.
Well, the original electrician. It's kind of interesting. I mean, and it brings up all kinds of questions. Was he testing this theory when he did this? I mean, why did he have a kite with a key on it? Was there some idea that he had that this might conduct itself or something?
Well, I
know?
think he did start out with a theory, and
So then he was proving
yeah.
his theory.
yeah.
Okay.
Lucky
Well, I
he
don't
didn't
know
get
the story.
electrocuted.
Well, anyways, if you'd like to see this exhibit, even if you've seen it one time, when you get people coming in for the weekend, you're always looking for things to do. And if maybe you've seen it, maybe you have grandchildren coming in for a weekend or something, what are the hours at the museum?
10 to 5, Wednesday through Saturday. And we have a lot of people do. They'll come and they'll tour the museum, and then they want to know where to go eat, because that's a nice little thing to add on to your trip uptown.
Right.
And check out other stores around. So
Lots of
it makes a
shopping.
nice little
tour.
Road trip.
Road trip and a tour.
Or
And
day
you
tour.
have people actually that, because I've been there, that people that come back every year and they always want to see
we
what's
got some
going
come
on
back
at the-
every week.
Yeah,
We
but
have our
people from out
regulars.
of town. Yeah, but people from out of town.
They do.
Yes,
they
yes.
do. They say, "Oh, I'm coming." Then they talk about it changes each
Summer, particularly.
Yes,
Yes,
particularly
yeah.
that big exhibit in the summer, and there was one couple just recently who's talking about they came last year and they were looking forward to coming next year and see what we had up then too. So
Right.
they do. It brings people in. Yeah.
And of course that's what Greenwood likes to hear and likes to know, that people, it's generating traffic coming into our town, and so that is very cool. So Wednesday through Saturday, 10 to 5, plenty of time to go see it.
And admission is free.
And that's what
Yes,
I was
it
going to bring
is.
up. Yes. How much does it cost? All of zero, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
a large part of that is because the city is giving us this
hospitality tax.
Yeah.
Now, however, you will take donations.
Oh, absolutely. They're very generous, the city and the county, but there's still another 2/3 we have to raise ourselves.
We are a nonprofit.
Right. But, I think a lot of people, sometimes people think, why do we have to have museums today? I mean, we've got everything on the internet. We've got this, that, and the other. Why do we need museums?
To preserve your ties with the past, to know what today's society and inventions and what people are doing today, what is underpinning them, how did we get here, and it's also really, really good to for children to know that things weren't always just the way they are now. That people lived differently in the past, and they were extremely ingenious in the things that they created and how they met their daily needs. You look at the train, particularly, and just every little bit of space is utilized for something. It's really ingenious is the name for it.
They didn't waste any space.
No, they didn't. And how they figured out how to do all these things that you need to do just for daily
Because
living.
today we just take it for granted. We take it for granted. I think the other thing is, yes, you can look at stuff on the internet, but there is something about being able to be right there, immersed in it, to be able to touch it and
Yeah.
see
See
it,
it.
and
Well,
these type of
you
things.
really learn. The more senses you involve in a learning experience, the better you learn it and the better you retain it. So just seeing or just reading, that's good. But to the
experience.
experience it and involve your whole body in the in the learning, it triggers something in your brain where you remember it better and you learn it better.
Yeah, there's a saying that I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, I do and I understand. And we need to understand our history because that's how we became who we are.
and how to
There are
know
also
where we're
lessons
going.
to
Yeah.
learn. Yeah, there's also lessons to learn from history.
And people are always trying to figure out how to do things differently, how to do things better. That's how all of the inventions came about.
Yeah. So I think when we look at, is a museum necessary? Yes, it is necessary. And I think the Greenwood Museum, I think that they really had a lot of foresight. Now, I know over the years there's been a lot of stuff that's had to be cleaned out because it was a depository for this is old, give it to the museum, right? They'll
Right.
take it. But now I know that a lot of time has been spent categorizing, organizing, making sure of what you had in the feasibility.
One of the biggest challenges that museums, even big museums, but especially little museums because we're so understaffed, one of the biggest challenges is keeping track of your accessions and properly storing them so that they don't deteriorate unduly,
And maintaining a database so that you
So you
know
can
what you
find
have
them.
and where it is.
Well, I know just what was it, a couple of years ago, you had the animals redone.
yeah, they were
was
sitting
in-
out back in the many years ago, probably 70 years ago. The museum was donated this collection of animals from safaris and from hunting in the area, and most of them were sitting out back in the warehouse. gathering dust, and some really interesting specimens, and so we took them out of storage and created the wild animal exhibit that we have on the second floor, which kids love. It's very, very popular exhibit, actually.
Right.
I think adults love it too.
Well, that's true. It's really interesting.
Right.
And we did
But
get...
you had to have a lot of work done to them to restore them or bring them back.
What a lot of the
Some
work
of them
was
need it.
yeah. That this is a future project to totally. But what we spent a lot of work on was creating the environment, the habitat that these animals would have been in, and we had
Artist in residence program, right?
Yeah.
Judson Arce, who
He
had
did
done
a
the
great
original exhibit, Karen was able to get a grant, and we hired Judson to come back and expand it.
Yeah, we went from one little corner of the room to filling the whole
Space
room
on that whole
yeah.
end, right? Yeah,
It's
and it's
fabulous.
beautiful. Yes.
It is fabulous.
So, and that's another exhibit that is right there at the museum on the upper floor. So you've got the electricity, you've got that, and you also have gems up there too.
Yeah,
Rocks
gem and
gems.
now that is we have a gem and mineral room, and we have brought up a lot of the collection from Mr. Durst and Miss Dr. Rhodes that had rock collections, gems and minerals, but that is our next project to redo and refurbish and expand is the
After the
gem and mineral.
depot.
After we get the depot.
After the depot.
We're not going to do it next
Well,
year.
you know, that's the beauty of having a museum, right? There's always a
Always something.
project. Yes, there's always a project.
We want to do the gem and mineral room in the Carolina Cave. We want to expand on the cave.
Yeah, I think
See,
there's
another great program for adults and children, which is the thing that I think is so neat about that museum, is it's not just for kids, it's not just for adults, it's for both. And there's something
There are
for
things that
everyone
there
there.
are. The kids particularly love the very most popular exhibit for kids is the train station room on
the
the
first
main
floor,
floor,
yeah.
and it's got this huge collection of toy trains, little wooden trains, and all kind of tracks, and all the accoutrements that go with it, and that is a kid magnet.
Oh, they love it. And
The
that
kid
was
magnet.
yeah, and that was sponsored by the Thomason
Yes,
Foundation.
Thompson
family.
Foundation sponsored the original room, and then we refurbished it a couple of years ago. Added a TV screen with showing the train, in live action through the teller's window, and added a little. Actual train on a track in the
overhead.
upper level of the room.
And that's thanks to Jock Moffitt and Rick Peck, who are two of our fabulous volunteers.
And they install that train and keep it working.
Whenever it jumps the track, well, something.
But one recently in the last couple of years, also one of the big things we did at the museum was the Native American exhibit, which Native Americans of Piedmont, which that
was a labor of love of yours for a couple of years, wasn't it?
Oh
before
yeah,
you
it
did
took a while to get that thing done.
Karen
Right.
took the lead on that exhibit.
But it's
What was interesting? Why did you want to do an exhibit
well, one
on
of the reasons was where I grew up, part of the old Cherokee Path, which was a trade path in South Carolina that went from Charleston up to Kiwi town and went across the whole state. And part of it ran right by the house I grew up in.
Well, I've got the map. I just put it up there. It'll be up there in just a second for people to see the whole trail.
And it's very significant for Greenwood County, actually, because this path ran through 96, Carnaca, and Cokesbury. And so we have a fair amount of that path going right through our county. And we had a lot of this path was traveled for like over 10,000 years. So there's
10,000 years.
Yeah, now they're saying that the Native Americans were here 17 to 20,000 years ago, not just 10,000 years.
Wow.
But this path is like 10,000. Yeah,
Well, that was before Columbus.
way before Columbus. But there was a lot of of Native American life, activity, traveling through, making camps, and as they became more agrarian, having gardens on their campsites and this kind of thing in our county.
Well, when we had sharp facets, we used to always have people bringing in arrowheads. I think you're saying that they were actually not arrowheads; they were spears, and this type of thing. And every time they dug up the earth around,
they'd find Indian artifacts,
right? For any of the big.
And there's actually a lot of tools that people weren't aware of and didn't recognize. They were only looking for the arrowheads, but there's actually a whole lot of tools in this area too that are very, very interesting.
I remember when they did, wasn't it the Sara Lee plant out there, which is now Caterpillar or something else. But yeah, they found a lot of arrowheads out there and there were mounds. I don't know whether those were burial mounds or whatever at the time, but that was back
I didn't
in
know
the
about the mounds there. Did they destroy them?
I guess. I think when they were doing this, but I remember people bringing stuff in and everything.
Well, see, that's not too far from where this path went.
Right.
And they would have, I understand there was a fairly major Native American city. Of course, they would be near rivers.
Right.
That is now under Lake Greenwood. Which,
so
of course,
who knows if they ever drained Lake Greenwood, what we might find, right?
Yeah, really.
More than arrowheads.
That's kind of like in Europe. In Greece? Let's see.
Greece got a lot of ruins.
Mesopotamia. And all that.
Yeah.
All those areas where you see the old things and they show you how beautiful the area was and everything.
Oh yeah.
Well, all the archaeological digs over in that area, they would have earthquakes and things, and they would just cover up with the rubble and build on top of it. Mm-hmm. So as they dig, they find
more and more.
More and more, that's right.
Yeah.
Going farther down.
So we've got one thing from the Indian exhibit that Karen, tell about the boiling stone. This is
Nikki,
my favorite
hold that
thing.
up and show them that boiling stone.
I'm going to be Vanna.
It's a stone with a hole in it. And
my stone's got a hole in it. It sounds like a song.
A country song.
It's got a boiling stone because they used it to cook. They didn't have metal pots and pans. They hadn't figured out metal except for copper. But they would use a skin, fill it with water, and put it on a tripod. And then to cook their food, they would put rocks in the fire. And the fire, of course, would heat it up above boiling temperature, which is, I think, 212, something like that. And so they would heat these stones up. It has a hole so you can pick it up with a stick, because you sure couldn't touch it with your hand. It's several hundred degrees hot. And then they'd put that in the skin with the water, and the water would boil and cook their food.
Wow.
So it's called a boiling stone.
Doesn't it amaze me how they came up with the idea?
Yeah.
Well, necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah, but
and
how
there's
would
more
you
than one
figure
way
out
to skin a cat.
Jeez.
Okay. I'm not going to say anything. I'll keep my mouth closed here. Okay?
That's an old saying.
I know. But that is very cool, and that's one of the pieces that you have on display at the museum, right?
Oh, yeah. It's in the exhibit.
In the exhibit. Now, what else do we have in the exhibit?
Oh, okay. Let's show them this kilt.
Okay,
Vanna, show them that kilt.
All right, this is it would go into a
the
stone,
kilt.
a
The
piece of
kilt
wood.
could be used like an axe or a chisel kind of thing, and it was relatively recent that they came up with kilts versus hammers. The hammers would have, hammers, axes, would have a groove where you tied it to a piece of stick for a handle.
And we're showing you this on Facebook Live. So if you're with us on Facebook Live, you're seeing this. Vanna, a.k.a. Nikki Murphy, is holding this up here for you to see this. And if you don't get to watch it right now because you're driving home or whatever, I hope you go back and watch it on WCRS 98.5 FM /1450 AM. And if you're not on Facebook and you want to watch it, you can watch it tomorrow tomorrow, right there from our website at WCRS1450am.net. So it'll be right there on the website. It'll be the first up one that you get to tomorrow.
So if you can't see it, this is a wedge-shaped piece of stone about the size of your hand. And one end is got a kind of a rounded point, and the other end is broader, and it is sharp. It has been sharpened.
Okay.
And the way they would attach it to a handle is they would dig a hole out of a piece of wood and wedge in the narrow end of this stone, which would be a lot more secure than trying to just tie it on to your stick,
Sure.
which they had done earlier.
Previously, yeah.
But again, an ingenious way to create a tool that was kind of ubiquitous. They used it for a lot of things.
They didn't throw tools away. If it got dull, they
Just
used
resharpen it.
just resharpen it with another rock.
Yeah,
Right.
it'd be a little smaller, but they keep using it.
And that's
until
called flint knapping, right?
Well, now the flint knapping would be where you strike a stone with another stone, or and nap off pieces and flakes, they call them, and you'd shape your tool that way. That the arrowheads were made that way, and they used rocks which would flake off easily, like the quartz that we find around here.
Right.
That one flakes off real easy. Now,
We have an example of quartz. It's very small, so it's probably hard
It's
to
a
see.
Now,
knife.
that was
Knife.
actually a knife.
that was a knife.
This is a knife. There's
It's
the
quartz.
sharp
It's
edge.
very sharp.
Because
Yep.
you could get a real sharp edge off of the by flint knapping on quartz or chert or
So that's where it looks kind of curved, where that a little bit of curve to it, where they chipped it off, right?
yeah,
Yes,
you would
you
see
can
you would
see
see
from the
actually where
side.
Right.
they call it
Curves down.
what, a bulb of compression, where you hit it and you'd see the little indentation.
Right.
And to sharpen the edge, they'd often use like an antler or a piece of bone, which is not as hard as a stone, so you'd apply pressure and get little teeny tiny flakes off the edge to create that sharp
right
Sharpness.
there.
edge.
I don't know if you can see.
And we
the
were talking
thickness.
about when Jeff, of course, was doing all the gem mining and stuff, you could actually know that there was a lot of topaz in our area. And people would come in all the time saying, oh, this is topaz or this is quartz. Well, the easy ways to tell is if it was going to be a knife like that, it had to be made out of quartz, because topaz had perfect cleavage and would not be sharp. No matter what you did to it, you couldn't make it sharp. So that's just
And
an
the quartz wood.
And the quartz wood, and they actually used topaz for like window glass for a while here in our area.
This is
Yeah.
amazing. I'm glad you told us that. I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
exactly.
But
So-
the other kind of stuff, they didn't use all flint knapping. They also used harder, denser stones like granite or basalt. And the basalt, and I don't think it's around here, but they did have tools made out of it that they would bring in on our trade paths. They did a lot of trading of different kind of stones for these tools, and the hard tools, the hard stones like that, they made a different way. They call pecking and grinding, and they'd take a little hammer stone. Like this round one here.
Like
Just
this.
happen to have one right
and,
here.
and
yes.
you could peck off little teeny tiny pieces to shape it, and then you take a grinding stone to smooth it and create a real sharp edge by smoothing it with another
Now, how
hard
much time
stone.
did it take to do something like this?
Well, you could make a field dressed flint nap thing 20 minutes. Now that wouldn't be refined. But
Okay.
it was a tool you could use out in the field. If you broke something, you could make another one pretty quick.
Right.
Now, this other kind of what we're talking about with all this napping and pecking and grinding, that would take several days or even longer, because it was depending on the size it was and how refined you made it, because it was a lot of rubbing of stones.
Right.
One of our wishes is to have a replica or small replica of a dugout canoe.
Oh, yeah.
That was something that was very labor intensive, but it lasted
Like 100
forever.
years. Yeah, they'd use them
years?
up to 100 years. Yeah.
Wow.
But it
Well,
involves.
it'd take a year or two to make it.
If there are any scouts out there who are looking for an eagle project, that
They
would
can
be
do a small one. They wouldn't have to take.
yeah, not a
that
full
long.
size. We don't have room for a full size one.
Right.
But what they would do, they'd fell a tree, and then they would build fire on the top, and then they would take like a kilt or a chisel, a stone chisel, and they would dig out where it was burnt. Then they build another little fire along the trench there, and continue doing this. Burn and chip until you hollowed out your log, and
That's
then you
pretty
could use it for
interesting. Pretty interesting.
And part of the burning process helped seal it to keep it from.
You know how you put you
Taking.
put a match to the end of acrylic, a shoelace or something like that to keep it from unraveling. Kind of does that with wood fibers too.
Wow. Well, those are now. You have quite an extensive display up there. Let's see. I know that we've got a picture here that we're showing on Facebook Live of spearheads and arrowheads. Now, the spearheads are the bigger ones you were saying.
Yeah, and for the early part, bow and arrow is fairly recent.
Okay.
The last 1,000 years or so, and before then they used spears, which were bigger points. Because if you couldn't use a big point on an arrow anyhow.
Right, on an arrowhead.
Yeah,
Hello,
it would even go thump, and
Straight to the ground.
So the arrows would use a very small arrowhead, and they even use that on large game. And they would often want the arrow to break off as the animal ran. Then the arrowhead would this sounds rather gruesome, but would work its way into the body of the animal, and
So they might be
that was-
chasing it for a while.
yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah, they might.
Yeah,
It would
seriously.
take a little while for it to reach
Now, what
the
about
heart.
the spearheads, which we've got a picture up here,
Oh,
and it shows
yeah.
some good-sized
And-
spearheads.
The spearheads were. I mean, they still kept using spears for some of their game, but that was pretty much what they had in the earlier tools. And they also would use an atlatl, which is a kind of a mechanism for your spear. You'd hook your spear to it, and it would add impetus, and you could guide it better. It was a kind of ingenious.
Well, you
mechanism
really
that-
have quite an exhibit at the museum. That's on the second floor. That is part of your
Yes.
permanent exhibit.
Yes, that is
Yes.
a permanent exhibit, and we have a picture on the wall of the typical village that the Native Americans in this area would have. It's always by water. They had a palisade, and they'd have the big central meeting house, and then the little houses around it.
They
And
were a
then
lot
you
of
would-
thatched
yeah.
houses. It was not teepees.
And they would often have a house for winter and a house for summer, and they were built differently.
Sure.
But they would also around this village, as the civilization progressed, and they became less hunter gatherers and more farmers. You would have a cultivated area around, sometimes inside your palisade, but certainly around it to grow some crops to use to eat, and that is. You find every once in a while a mortar and pestle thing, a big a stone with a hollow indent in it, and then a smaller stone that you would use to grind your grain. And they had amaranth and buckwheat, native grains, but and then corn became more and more of a major
Well, I
grain.
think it's
that they-
very impressive what you have collected there. You have a big mortar and pestle.
Yeah, we do.
there.
Yes.
We do.
You have another big container. What was that one that came from Mississippi or something?
Oh, pottery was another big. The Catawba and the Cherokee, who both lived in this area, fairly major tribes in this area, were both into pottery. And as a matter of fact, there's a hillside not too far from here that many years ago, when I was teaching art and we were doing pottery, I went down and saw. It was as a Native American a huge hillside that they used to fire their pots, and they would dig a hole in the ground inside of the hill, line it with rocks, and then you'd light your fire, and you could low fire your clay. Now it's not
Was
like
that the one like that they have over there is it in Edgefield? They had a in the ground pottery.
oh they
pottery
did,
kit. They
from
did,
the
but,
Native Americans.
I don't know if it was Native Americans.
Pit
but
fire.
Pit
fire.
yeah, very similar
similar.
idea. Very
Right.
similar idea, and you didn't do your earthenware hard high fired stuff in that, but it would harden your clay to where it could hold liquids and grain and whatever you needed it to hold, nuts or whatever, with that, and be waterproof, pretty much, and they made coil pots, which you roll out your clay into like a big long snake, and then you coil it into the shape you want.
Right.
And then you take a smoothing stone, and you smooth it. And when you do that, it kind of burnishes the outside surface or the inside surface, both, and the burnishing kind of makes it more waterproof. Kind of compresses
seals
on.
it together.
Yeah,
seals
exactly.
Seals the
Yeah.
coils.
So
Well,
anyhow, that went on here, and we do have a nice little display of some Indian pots.
That's true, and so we've shown you some pictures here on our Facebook Live. I hope that you'll go back and maybe watch it at a future time where you can see what we're talking about. If you're listening on the radio, like I said, it's on our Facebook page, WCRS 98.5 FM, 14/1450 AM. But you can also see it on our website tomorrow. It'll be on the website, so you can check it out right there. WCRS 1450am.net. So make sure you go back and listen, watch, however you'd like to view it. But a lot of invaluable information here. Now, if that's not enough for you, we got the Princess Party coming up next Saturday. What's coming up on September 8th, Nikki?
We have a golf tournament. It's the Railroad Museum Golf Classic. It will be at Greenwood Country Club. And with all of these things that we do, and yes, we do get a lot of support from the city and the county, but that is a portion of what it takes to operate our two facilities. Mm-hmm. And we do a lot of fundraising, and the golf tournament is one of those fundraisers. It's a lot of fun. It's $90 per player. We have different levels of sponsors, and the sponsors are all train themed names. One is Train Master, Conductor, Engineer, Porter, and Steward. So you can sponsor the golf tournament, and with each different level, there are different perks. For example, if you are a conductor sponsor for $1,000, that includes a team.
You get to have 4 people play without
that's included in the sponsorship.
Yeah.
Breakfast and lunch are provided. It's a shotgun start at 9:00, 4-man captain's choice, and there are cash prizes for first, second, and third place net, and other prizes for first, second, and third place gross. Longest drive, closest to the pin. I'm not a golfer, so I don't know all of these things.
but if
we
you
do
are a
have
golfer,
prizes.
this is a fun event to come participate in, and the price is modest for playing on a team.
And all proceeds benefit the museum and Railroad Historical
do.
Center.
And that's on a Monday, right?
Monday,
Monday, September 8th. So now, if somebody wants to sign up or find out more about it, what do they need to do?
They can, go to greenwoodmuseum.org, our website, and register there. They can give us a call at the museum, 229-7093.
They can come by and see you.
They can come by
yeah,
and see us
absolutely.
and pick up a brochure. We've got a wonderful team of people who are coordinating the golf tournament, and they're out in the community asking all their friends to sponsor and play. It is a lot of fun, and we do hope to have a lot of people play.
Well, you usually, and you've done this for how
Yeah,
many
this
years?
is going on over.
I think
6.
2019 may have been our first year.
So this is the 6th 6th year.
Seventh one. So
Something.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. They go all out on this, and it is September 8th. Registration at 8:30. Tee off at 9 a.m. and it is at the Greenwood Country Club. So you know it's going to be a good event. Breakfast and lunch for all you guys and gals that want to have something to eat. Plus, you have a lot of opportunities to win a whole lot of prizes, and that's exactly what it's all about. But how about if you can, even if you just would like to be a whole sponsor, that's a big help right there.
$100
it
for a
is.
whole sponsor, and those add up.
Right.
Those are, and it's a way to advertise your business. Everybody gets a whole sign and gets acknowledged on the sponsorship banner, and it's a great way to let the community know that our businesses support Greenwood.
That's right. That's
And
right.
if you have your calendars out and you've already ready to start posting things for 2026, our Kentucky Derby fundraiser is going to be on Saturday, May the 2nd.
It's always the first Saturday in May. That's when the Derby is every year.
And the Derby is always run very close to 7 o'clock, so we'll probably start about 5 in the evening. Start planning your hat, your outfit.
If you happen to go to Kentucky, pick up some stuff to be ready for it, right?
That's right.
That's right.
If you would like to help us out by donating some prizes to give away, because door prizes, that is one of the big popular things.
Right.
It doesn't have to be bourbon related, but we do have a bourbon tasting at the Kentucky Derby and mint juleps and wonderful
And
Derby
everybody
food.
loves to dress the part.
Oh, yes.
Oh, and you
yeah.
see some wonderful outfits too.
You do.
And we do have prizes for 4 categories of hats.
So there's a lot, there's a lot going on at the museum. That's the bottom line. And there's a lot more that's going to be going on when you look at the redo down there at the Railroad Museum. So,
And not to forget to mention all of the Christmas activities at the train. The
That's
North
right.
Pole Express.
Oh,
We have 2
yeah.
weeks of school field trips. We have the night family party. And then we have a very relaxed Christmas at the train. And Greenwood High School theater students also help with that.
absolutely. So there's a lot going on at the museum. You got to check it out. The museum and the Railroad Historic Center. That's 2. Count them, 2 businesses really in one. And you guys do a great job of making sure. And I know that this has been harrowing to get through the design phase and everything on
the depot, yeah.
on the depot. But it's
Yes.
really going to be a great addition to the city of Greenwood and Greenwood County.
Yes.
So thank you so much for coming out and sharing all this.
Thank you for having us.
We have enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's right. We should have had tea.
Well, we'll have it at the Princess Party.
Yes, that's
They
right.
have-
We do
they
have
a
that.
tea
Well,
party.
lemonade.
Lemonade at the tea party. You got to sign up for the tea party. That's only the 2 o'clock, and it is limited seating, isn't it?
Yes,
Oh, yes, it
yes,
is.
very limited.
So if you want to get your granddaughter in on the tea party or your daughter in on the tea party, you better call them tomorrow or register online at.
GreenwoodMuseum.org.
That's right. So that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for being here, Nikki and Karen. Thank you so much for being here this afternoon. It's been a great afternoon reminiscing, talking about the museum, and looking at what the future holds for the Greenwood Museum. Thanks so much.
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Ann.
That's going to do it for me, and I'll be back in the morning with more to talk about. You know, I'm a talker, so that'll do it for us right here. Bye-bye, everybody. This is WCRS right here in Greenwood. Bye-bye, everybody. There you go, and we are out of here. Bye-bye, everybody.
And right on cue, Pip.